Almost 20 years ago, we had a shocking day that has simply become known as 9/11. Especially in New York City, there was a lot of destruction, loss of lives, buildings came tumbling down, the blocks around the World Trade Center were decimated, and a lot of rubble was left behind. In the midst of that rubble, however, there was a tree, a Calare pear tree. Its branches were actually all ripped off, but when they came upon it, they discovered that it was still alive. So very carefully, they dug it out, and they transferred it to a nursery in a park in the Bronx. And botanists took care of it, and they nursed it back to life. And new branches started to grow on it, and it looked incredibly healthy. So once the memorial at Ground Zero was in place, about 9 years after the 9/11 event, this tree was brought back to the plaza area. And actually, when they took it away, it was only about 8 feet tall because the branches had been torn off. Bringing it back, it was much larger, and it was a real ordeal. They put it on a flatbed truck, but then they had to figure out a route that would bring them so they would not go under low overpasses so that they could get back to lower Manhattan. The tree stands there right now. There's no plaque on it. And yet lots and lots of visitors know the story, and they stop and pay attention. And it's become well known, among other things, that it's the first pear tree in the area to blossom every spring, almost at this time of the year. It's become a tree of life, a tree of memory, but a tree of life and a tree of hope. But what I like most about the story is something else. Every year, they take saplings from that tree. And once they know that they are well rooted, they transfer them out to other communities throughout the country that have undergone a tragedy. They say, we want to share with you this symbol of hope and new life. It will come about. The tree has become a sign of new life. And so I'm sharing it with you today. On this Easter Sunday, when we celebrate new life, we need symbols, we need reminders. And I don't know if you heard in the first reading today, when Peter talks about Jesus, even uses the term tree. It says, and Jesus was nailed to a tree. Obviously not to a pear tree. It's a euphemism for being nailed to the wood of the cross, the wood of a tree. The cross, the tree, is a sign of new life. Actually, through the ages, lots of people have thought about the tree as a symbol of hope and new life. Many people, when they move into a new home, they plant a tree in the yard. I know my ancestors, when they came to Northwest Ohio and they cleared the land, they not only planted a tree, they planted an orchard. And those trees from that orchard were still there when I was growing up, and I used to climb in those trees. The tree is a sign of belief in the future. And what belief do we have today? The belief that Jesus has conquered death through the wood of a tree, the wood of the cross. He has conquered death, but also through resurrection, restored life. We do believe that could continue to be our meditation for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the year. But wait, there's more. And the more is, not only did Jesus conquer death and rise, but he made this promise to all of us that we have resurrection offered to us as well, beginning with baptism. Last night at the Easter Vigil, there was a baptism. What a wonderful thing. The baptismal font is running again. The water is flowing. What excitement to see new life through baptism. But we've been baptized. And that is the offer of resurrection to all of us. So we should not live as dead people, but as resurrected people. But wait, there's more. It's not merely, I shouldn't say merely, that Jesus rose from the dead. That's more than mere. And it's not even the offer of resurrected life to all of us. But it's also the hope that no matter what kind of crisis we are going through, it could be a nationally 9/11. It could be a worldwide pandemic. It could be our own personal issues and our family struggle. Whatever it is, we have hope that out of the rubble there is new life. The tree will grow. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, I'm not going to give in to fear. Because he lives, we are new people, people of hope. The tree is ours. A very good friend of mine, a priest, had the custom for years that when the kids in his parish celebrated First Holy Communion, he gave a little tree, a little sapling, to every one of the kids. Kind of a symbol that the life of the Eucharist, keep it growing in your life. And these kids were very proud of that. And after the first year or two, all the kids were counting on this tree. And they found a special place in the yard to plant it. And I remember talking to some parents. And the one parent was talking about her daughter was so excited that every year she'd have a picture taken along with the tree, all the way up till she graduated from high school. By then, the tree was much bigger. But I recall another story from a dad who talked about his son. And it was only about 2 years after the First Holy Communion of the son that the family moved. And that boy insisted that that tree be dug up and brought with them. They did. They took it with them. We want to take with us the hope that we have today. We want to take with us the sheer joy. And just as that tree from New York has sent out saplings of joy to people throughout the country, and hope and possibility and new life, we discover that as we take it with us and let it grow in our hearts, this belief, this hope that the Lord has risen, we can help change the world and provide hope for others.